getting ready to celebrate with my family. We had the big under 10-year-old party going on at the Miller house on New Year's Eve. And you wouldn't think you could get so rowdy with under 10-year-olds, but believe me, you can. Wake up with nearly the same headache you would as if you were with over 30s. And on the way home, I had this startling moment of clarity of what I wanted to think about going into the new year. And I started thinking about 2012, and 2012 just kind of moved to 12. And then I was thinking, this year's going to be a good year. And I got to this point where I just said, bring it on. Bring on the 12. Bring it on, and let's do this in 12. So I want you to say that with me right now. Just say after me, bring on the 12.
Bring on the 12.
Bring on the 12.
Bring on the 12.
It is time to think about where we're going to go in the 12, what our goals will be, what we want to accomplish. And the purpose of setting goals is to give us an end point, somewhere to focus our effort and energy so that we can measure our accomplishment and actually quantify our success. How many of you would like to have a successful 2012? Who would say that is your goal this year, to be successful? But how do we define that? How do you actually take that and say, this is how I know I achieved success this year? That's where goals come in. Goals come in to help you determine what stays in your plan and what has to be eliminated from your plan. Goals help you determine how you're going to spend your time in your schedule. It helps you know what you do before work, during work, after work, because everything plays into a goal once you determine this is where I'm going to go, this is what I'm going to accomplish. Some quotes that we're going to talk about today. Number one, there is no achievement without goals. You can't achieve if there isn't a goal in mind to actually quantify the success. Number two, this one step, choosing a goal and sticking to it, changes everything. And then thirdly, our friend Earl Nightingale said, people with goals succeed because they know where they're going. And so whether you are on the ball, you have set goals for yourself this year, or today's a day for you to start thinking about your goals, through this talk, we're going to give you some practical tools that you can use to set goals for your business, to set goals for yourself personally, even to think about your philosophical goals, what you want to accomplish overall, big picture in your life and through your life. So, are you guys ready to get started?
Yeah.
Is anybody ready to get started?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. 3 steps to achieve your goals. Number one, drum roll. Set your goals. Number one, set your goals. This requires taking some time, considering what your goals will be, and write them down. Take some time and write them down. There are statistics that exist that goals that are out there, they're spoken but never written, are far less likely to be accomplished than the goals that are actually written down. Take some time, set your goals by writing them down. The first point there, when you're going to write them down, do this. Start with the end in mind. Where do I want to end up? What would I like to see accomplished through my goals this year? Where's that end point? Because when you start with the end in mind, it helps you set your long-term goals, but it also helps you set your short-term goals. Let me give you an example. How many of you would say today you have a goal to be successful in business? How many of you would say that? Okay, let me define that a little further. How many of you have a goal to grow your business? Who would say that's, I can relate to that. In front of you, under that beautiful flyer there, that wonderful color flyer, there's some paperwork there, and I want you to grab this piece of paper that says 4 ways to grow your business. Because setting a goal to grow my business doesn't give me that end point we're talking about to shoot for in order to achieve that success. This is a 5-page document. I'm going to encourage all of you to spend some time going through this document, because what this covers is a way to take that goal of I want to grow my business, and it'll help you look at 4 distinct areas that you can plan for to grow the business. So, 4 ways to grow your business. Number 1, increase the number of customers of the type you want. That seems relatively understood. We all know if I want to grow, I got to get new customers. New blood has to come in. But number 2, the number of times those customers come back. How many times can I get the repeat business from those customers? Number 3, the average amount per transaction with those customers. This goes into a cross-sell or upsell technique. How we're going to grow the business through the existing people spending more with me over time. And then number 4, and this is significant, this is very important, to increase the effectiveness of what I do. One way to grow your business is to become more efficient and effective so that you can do your business for less cost and accomplish more, therefore affecting that net number, that bottom line. So when we talk about starting with the end in mind, if you look at these 4 areas alone, you could begin to consider, what does it look like for me to increase my new business? What has to happen to do that? Am I talking about increasing by 50%? Do I want to increase a number of clients per month? Maybe it's 2 a month, maybe it's 10, maybe I have to have lots of them. Your industry will determine those actual numbers, but to start with the end in mind has you actually thinking about where that growth will come from. So this is a very good tool to use when you start to plan your goals and get specific about how you want to grow your business. Next, when we talk about setting your goals, setting them is not enough, because if you don't have a strategy to accomplish the goal, then you're left with a great idea, with some idea of how to get there, without very clear markers of what I'm going to do next. What's step 1, what's step 2, what's step 3. And so B, under set your goals, is strategize to achieve success. There is a very powerful tool that is used in business. It's been used since the 1960s, and it's called a SWOT analysis. How many of you have ever done a SWOT analysis for your business? Okay. If you have, then you know that this can be a great tool to help you analyze your business. And if you've never done one, this is a powerful way to help you strategize. A SWOT analysis is very simply this. You take a look at your business internally. So this might be, if you're the solopreneur, you're the one that drives the business, this is to evaluate your strengths and your weaknesses. Are any of you aware today of the fact that you do have inherent weaknesses? Anybody know that about yourself? If you're in denial, I'll tell you today, you have weaknesses. We all have weaknesses. In fact, very interesting, when you speak with an individual, each of our strengths usually have a corresponding weakness to the strength. Any of you know that about yourselves? You have an area where you're strong, but if that coin gets flipped, that same strength can become a weakness very quickly. And that's helpful to know when you're strategizing for your goals, because your weaknesses actually require you to think around them. How do I move around those? How do I take them into account for my overall planning so that I can build on my strengths but understand my weaknesses? That same analysis can happen for a business. What are the business's strengths and what are the business's weaknesses? And that's very helpful to do, and I highly recommend, if you're going to do something like this, don't do it alone. Have a business partner, have a mentor, have a business coach, have someone that you work with besides you who has an objective viewpoint of you and your business help you with this. Because some of us are very, very aware of our weaknesses. In fact, we are myopic about our weaknesses. We see our weaknesses and it's all we see. I meet with business owners and I ask them about their business and they tell me again and again and again everything that's wrong or what's wrong with them. Is that helpful?
No.
No, that type of person needs someone who can be objective, not subjective, and see the bigger picture of, yes, you do have those weaknesses, but you also have these strengths. Yes, your business has these weaknesses, but it also has these strengths. And then there's some of us who are completely blind to our weaknesses, and all we see is our strengths.